Hi everybody, this is your weekend path chat update on the future side of things. It's March 19th. I'm Bob Iacchino along with Mike Arnold from Path Trading Partners. I'm just going to turn it over to Mike pretty much immediately. If you want to see what we've got going in terms of releases and news for the week, check out the weekend FX update that's already been posted. Again, date of March 19th. Mike's going to take a look at the three equity indexes for you, the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq, as well as crude oil and the metals. And I'll have a little bit of crude oil commentary when he's all done. Mike, it is all yours.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Bob. So Dow, mentioned we triggered a little minor double bottom. It's now pulled back. We're going to keep watching for this. This is coming for support. This is really just a broad market pattern. We're not trading it, but we're going to see if it can reach its full potential at 21,103, or if it's going to close below the flattening rotation zone and this rising trend line. So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. If we really break down below the 2796 level, it's not looking good. The next level below that would be 2758 before we could trigger somewhat of a correction move. Again, to the upside, 21,103 followed by 21,169 are the upside targets. S&P, little stronger than the Dow. Right up, pulled back to the rising or flattening 8 right now, right near prior breakout area for that double. If we do go up to reach that double target, it's a 2-target one for the S&P. 2392 followed by 2398, and then the prior top would be the next target at 2401. If we pull back, watch for some support around 2366 and also this rising trend line, followed by about the 2362 level, and then the next levels down are 2354 and 2349. Nasdaq's been the strongest. It did not have a double bottom trade in there. It's broken up and is pulling back to test prior resistance becoming support. So the support level would be the 53.99, essentially the 5400 level, rising trend line, flattening 8 EMA about 53.95. If we break through that, watch for some support about 53.63, followed by 53.53, followed by 53.30. On a continued rally, our next target up is 54.66 GAN level. If we are going to get some resistance, it might come in at about 54.40 to 54.41. Let's switch over to crude. Crude, after a big sell-off, we then proceeded to gap up and rally for 3 days back into the declining rotation zone and a key GAN level right around 49.61. If we continue to rally on Monday, watch for 50.45, followed by 50.74, followed by 50.94 are going to be the key resistance levels higher. If we turn around and sell off below Friday's low, which was around 49.10, watch for next support 48.77, followed by 48.38. And if we were to break through there, 47.93, then we have a rising trend line coming in. Finally, in metals, pretty nice 6-day rally in copper. Take us up to some key GAN levels right here, 269.14. If we move higher, we're going to have key resistance right around 270.68 in this declining trend line. If we're to get through there, next major area is 272.32 to 273.93, followed by end of a clear path at 73.86. If we're going to break down, watch for retest of Friday's lows right around 265.73 to 265.49, also where we have a GAN cluster coming in. Below that, we're looking at 264.25, followed by 263.55 and 262.44 for support. Over to gold. We've had a nice little rally on gold also. We have a redrawn trend line. Key defining point right around 1234. So if we get above 1234 on a closing basis, I'm going to watch for targets of 1246 followed by 1250. If we pull back, I'm going to look for key support around 1218 to 1219. We also have a rising 8 EMA coming in there. If we get below that, next major GAN support is 1214 to 1212. And then finally 1209. So right in those 1209 through 1214, there's going to be a fair amount of short-term GAN support, so watch for that. Finally, silver. Pretty decent rally, not quite as strong as gold. We also have a redrawn trend line at that. If we get above the 1746 level, I'm going to be watching for a test of our defining point at 1758 as possible resistance. A close above 1758 is going to lead us to a next target right around 1780 with possible minor resistance around 1768. If we turn back down and sell off, watch for a key test of the 1725 levels. Breaking below that, then we're going to really be going into about the 1716 level, followed by the 1710 for potential support. That's all we have for you. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Mike. Now be careful on crude oil. Crude oil rig counts were up 14 on Friday. I've talked a lot about crude oil, both in the Money Path podcast and on these Path chats. But we're now on a third streak of consecutive rig count rises. This one takes rig counts up to 631. This is the highest level now since September 25th of 2015, arguably when the market really started to be convinced that the shale oil was done. So watch prices this week. If you see prices stabilize or even go a little bit higher, watch for a dramatic improvement in U.S. crude production over the coming month. We're just going to start to see some of the OPEC cuts come out of storage starting in the next reports. So you might see some inventory reduction, and we've had a couple of weeks in a row of million-plus draws on gasoline. So there is going to start to be some draw, and we are entering the spring driving season. However, production is going a lot better in North America than Saudi Arabia expected, and we're starting to hear both publicly and privately Saudi Arabia admonishing some of the other members of OPEC and the non-members of OPEC in terms of cheating on their cuts. And based on looking at the OPEC report versus the Saudi Arabia's actual words, OPEC says they cut production, Saudi Arabia did. Saudi Arabia says they increased it. So their actions are starting to kind of say their words for them. If you guys don't start complying, then we've got a problem because we won't comply either. So keep all of that in mind as you're watching this stuff. At the end of the day, trade the price action because you don't know which way these things are going to go. Thanks, guys. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you in the next video. Cheers.